Okay, so quite a while ago now, I wanted to replace my DVD-based camcorder. Mostly because it's DVD-based. I really like the quality. I love the camcorder, but it is DVD-based, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. And um, I was worried about the DVD, but just suddenly conking out. Being a DVD drive and all. They tend to sort of do that, whereas I don't think the solid state ones do as much. And at the time I was looking in the Argus catalogue, I wanted to get another Canon, but in HD. They always do these kind of mid-range consumer um, sort of camcorders, and I wanted one of them. But there's a couple of others that always kind of struck my fancy. One is the Sony with the built-in projector. I think that's cool. The other was a Panasonic, uh, which was standard definition, but it had an awesome zoom lens of about, an awesome optical zoom of about 70 millimeters, and 70 times, not 70 millimeters, but 70 times, and it kind of gave me a headache because it's standard definition, and can I get as good a footage by getting a full HD camcorder and just using digital zoom for that last bit to get to the same, the same degree of zoom. And then the zoom will be about the same quality, the image will be about the same quality at that point. But the 99.9% of the time that I don't need that kind of zoom lens, it will be full HD. So I did anyway. I saw one of these Panasonic camcorders in CEX for about 80 quid, and they were like, I think they were about 250 in Argos, which I could never really justify. And I had a bit of spare cash at the time, so so I splashed out. I got it home, and it was awful. Quite frankly, it is standard definition, but the sensor is so bloody tiny. It's actually worse than standard definition. Like, it's far worse. The quality is far worse than my camcorder. It's really pixelated. Looks really pixelated on the TV, and it was just crap. And the sound quality wasn't great either. It did this weird thing where it kept, like, it had a zoom mic. That might have had something to do with it, but it seemed to do it even when I was in full widescreen, full wide angle, whatever. It would sound like I was oversampling. So it sounded like two of me were speaking sort of at once and slightly, and one of them was slightly delayed. So it would sort of give that effect, like about half of the time. Other than that, it was okay. One cool thing about it was the zoom lens. On the screen it told you in numbers, like when you were at 2 times, 4 times, 8 times, 16 times, and so forth. That I thought was pretty neat. Other than that, it was a piece of shit. So much so that I didn't even bother keeping any footage from it, sort of for comparison, which is really unusual for me. Even with the Hitachi thing that didn't work, which I had 2 of, I've still got, I've got the original unboxing, I've got the unboxing / review of the second attempt. I haven't got that on YouTube, I've got that footage somewhere, and I've got, on YouTube, I even have a My Little Pony unpacking video shot of it. And I also have, a background, one of these ambient background videos, similar to the sort of thing Creeps McPasta does. The sort of video backgrounds he does. You know, got one of those shot over like a waterfall. So yeah, I'm usually interested in, you know, compare, but this was so bad. Like, there was a lot of design flaws with it, and one of them was that the USB thing was situated behind the battery cover with the AV cable. You had to plug it in to get them. Yeah, because you had a 60 GB hard drive, but you had to sort of plug it in to get the footage off of it. There was no option for putting it onto a memory card. Yeah, copying the thing onto the memory card or anything like that. The only way you could get it off the camcorder was by plugging it into, you know, the computer via USB. Problem is, you charge the battery by taking the battery out, putting it in a supplied battery charger, which used a figure of 8 power cord, or the AV adapter, I noticed, and yeah, the AV adapter didn't come with the camcorder, so you had to buy it separately. And I shot everything on the, you know, all my test footage on the hard drive, so I couldn't get it off. The only thing I could have done, really, is to reshoot it on the memory card. And I thought, I can't be arsed. Like, that's how bad it was. It was really, really crap. Anyway, I took it back. I got it from CEX, like I said. I took it back, and all they would give me was a £82 voucher. And of course, by this time, I've bid on a decent camcorder, which I won for about £100. And I'm very happy with that camcorder. Very happy with that one. It is a HD Canon thing. And that is awesome. Like, beyond awesome. I got a good deal there. But of course, now I've spent blinking 180 odd quid, which I never intended to do. And all I've got is this voucher. I know I'm going to lose it. It's just a till receipt, which I kept in my phone case. So I spent it all online on, you know, various things, including a cheap, what they call a cheap budget HD camcorder or something like that. No, generic budget HD camcorder. And I wound up buying 16 items all told. And yeah, I have some issues with buying from CEX online. Probably the worst thing was the memory cards. I ordered 2 secure memory cards, one 32 gig, one 4 gig. It says SD card on the receipt. It says SD card on a little documentation thing that came on the box. That's definitely what I ordered. And they sell the little mini one, you know, the micro SDs, and they're a little bit more expensive. But they sell those separate, you know, they sell those as well. And this was like the full size micro SD cards. Guess what came? The micro SD cards without a bloody adapter. So that was really annoying. The right size, and one was Kingston. I really believe the bigger one was Kingston and the smaller one was SanDisk. So, you know, they're good makes. And so forth. The larger one seems to have some kind of index system, which I don't quite know what that is. Whereas this one is completely empty. But yeah, that was that's one issue. Another issue is with this camcorder, or another 2 issues. They all came in, you know, the whole order came in separate packets. Basically, I ordered 2, you know, on 2 separate occasions. I ordered a pair of headphones, this camcorder, a like a Regame, a Blu-ray, about 10 DVDs, and I think a couple of CDs. The Trainspotting soundtrack. I wanted a copy of Trainspotting like a few days ago, and I couldn't find it, but I wound up buying like a bag of DVDs instead. But you know, that was from CEX. But I found the film on the website, so I mean, that was one thing at least, I guess. And I was expecting, you know, and then on the second occasion I bought a remote plus, a nunchuck for it. And I think that was when I bought the 2 memory cards. Yeah, it was. That was when I bought the 2 memory cards, just those 4 items. And I bought that like the next day or something. That all came in one jiffy bag. You know, the second one, the nunchuck, you know, the Wii controllers and the memory cards all came in one jiffy bag. The rest of the items came all higgledy-piggledy. Like the discs would come 2 or 3 at a time in jiffy bags through the you know, through the post. And I've got some Royal Mail sort of red cards. I got like 2 or 3 of those, and I took them down to the post office and received another jiffy bag full of discs. I think 4 discs, which is why it wouldn't fit through, and a massive box. The massive box wound up you know, containing my headphones and 1 DVD and I think something else as well. It might have been another CD, like, but it was mostly just a pair of headphones, and they are fucking huge. And no camcorder, and I thought, well, where's my camcorder? I waited for about a week, and then I realised that they'd sent that alone by UPS, and I didn't see the little slips that they put through. So I had to call them up, and that was a fucking nightmare. Luckily they hadn't returned it to sender. No, I called it on time, but I had to phone them up and arrange a delivery today. Like any time today. They delivered it about midday. And yeah, this came in like a stupid bin bag. Yeah, and the thing about this camera, it costs about 15 quid. I was expecting, because they have like a couple of different listings. One of them says budget HD digital camcorder or something like that, and it has a camcorder kind of styled like that as a picture, and I don't like these. The other one just says budget generic HD camcorder, no digital, and it's shaped more like a camcorder, you know, which I do like. I don't know, these you know, those types of camcorders, they came out slightly after the flip. You know, the flip was the flip camcorders were, for some reason, like a surprise success. Even though they were, you know, it must have been terrible to shoot with, and they weren't that good a quality, you know, for what you, you know, for what you paid for, apparently. But they were surprisingly popular, and sort of other companies, I think they patented the design at first, and that was the thing. So some other companies sort of came up with that, and they look really cool. But the problem is, like, you know, the traditional sort of camcorder shape. It's that shape for a reason, and so are Instamatic and blinking SLR cameras, because that's what works. You had the old box cameras, you had those strange long ones that took the 1:4 film, and then they all started to sort of be designed in one of two different ways. They're still cameras, and then the Handycam sort of came out, and they sort of found the design and stuck with it because it really fucking works. This looks cool, doesn't really work. This is the sort of thing that Hitachi was I don't know where the mic is on this one. I don't even know if this is going to come out, but that's like the Hitachi camcorder. The Hitachi thing was a little bit bigger and kind of shinier and black, and I didn't like it. It was really, really hard to keep it still. It was just completely pointless. There's no kind of strap. There's a lanyard, but there's no sort of strap, so you can't sort of put your hand, and have it sort of one-handed. You sort of still have to sort of grab it from the bottom, and there's nothing. It's not designed to sort of be used. It's designed to sort of look good. So the one that looked like that was about 12 quid, and the one that looked like a camcorder was 15 quid. And I was expecting a certain type of camcorder, like this Chinese one that I've seen on eBay. They usually go for about 50 quid, brand new, on eBay. And they have 16 times digital zoom, no optical zoom whatsoever. They're only 720 HD, and all that kind of thing. And that's basically what this is. But that is the slipcase of the camera I'm using. That's what arrived, and I'm slightly pissed off. Other than that, it's pretty much what I expected. I don't know what the quality is going to be like, but yeah, it's the same. Not very good at close focus, I don't think. That's not surprising. But yeah, it's got all those kind of things. 720 at 30 frames. WVGA, and it also does the what is it? The VVGA, the one just above VGA, wherever that is. The sort of old-fashioned webcam one. Apparently, it has 5 megapixel camera. I don't know. That's better than the Canon, actually. That's one low point about it. It only has a 2 megapixel camera, but yeah, one thing I do like about it is it has a swivel screen. That's something that I was a little bit worried about, because I bought one of these camcorders a while ago, and the only swizz about them was the audio turned out. I thought the audio was quite good at first, but no, it kind of it had an automatic level control that was set too high for itself, so you would it would kind of gain up and up until it just became distorted, and then cut out, and then sort of go back up again. So the audio is always incomprehensible. And it had no swivel screen, which made sort of making selfie type videos a pain in the arse. Of course, out of necessity, almost this has a swivel screen, but it does swivel all the way around. It's just like a 3.5, at the moment. It's got the back bar on the top and bottom, which is fine. But the Hitachi did that as well, weirdly enough. It's supposed to be a full HD camcorder, and it had a screen like that, and he just put black bars at the top and bottom when he was shooting in widescreen. But there you go. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm kind of pissed off that that happened. I'm kind of pissed off that that he came by UPS as well. So I only really got it today. And I had to find the bleeding stupid adapter just so I could use it. You know, test it out, 'cause I might take it with me horsey tomorrow. I mean, that was the idea. It's just a cheap thing I sort of carry around with me because my phone camcorder, unfortunately, is a little bit unreliable. It doesn't always pick up audio whatsoever. So, you know, if I'm out and about and I want to sort of do a spontaneous vlog type thing, I did that once and it had no audio, which was bullshit. So that's kind of what this is going to be used for, if it's any bloody good. Yeah, I'll just carry it around in my bag all the time. I might even get a little case for it at some point. Of course, it doesn't have a bleeding lens cap, which the Hitachi thing didn't either. That's a bit of a pain, but what do you expect for 12 quid? It seemed to be pretty much brand new as well. All the wires and everything. Came with it, so that's pretty cool. HDMI, I don't think so. No, it just says it says HD out, and it's just like a composite. It's not even. It's like a 3.5mm jack. It looks like. Anyway, so anyway, kind of disappointed with CEX. And I don't mind about them not giving me my money back for the other camcorder, because they did. They have sort of a complicated thing, you know, when you're buying expensive things, they have like a complicated warranty where it's a 1-year warranty, but it's only like parts and repairs if you know, for about 12 months. I think for 1 month they will replace the camcorder if there's a fault that they can see, and for 48 hours you can take it back for any reason, but you only get a store voucher. I thought that was, that's where I got confused. I thought, I would get my money back, which is why I started bidding on this camcorder on eBay, and then I'll be able to put the money back in my bank and pay for this other camcorder. As it happens, I don't have 2 brass coins to rub together at the moment, because until payday tomorrow. So because of that. But I do have an awesome camcorder. I do have, for what it's worth, I have the items. Oh yeah, the other problem is on the website, the items aren't described very well. The items aren't described very well at all. Basically, for this camcorder, literally all you got was, the title, budget HD camcorder, whatever it was. Generic budget HD camcorder. That's all you got, in a picture of what looked like a camcorder, but with no make. And nothing like what I bloody got through the post. The headphones were the same. Like, they've got, you got the model number, but some of them had pictures, some of them didn't, and what arrived wasn't really what I was. Luckily, I got impatient and I bought a pair from Argos. I needed some for a certain day. I needed some for Tuesday when I went to Western Supermare last Tuesday. I went to Western Supermare, and I knew that I went with a group, and I knew that one of the people in the group can be a bit of a nightmare. I was expecting to go in a minibus for a start. I went in a coach. Went in a big, posh, comfortable coach, which was really cool. But I was expecting one of the people to be really loud. He talks a lot. Talks a lot of crap. Talks really loudly and tends to tell a lot of jokes, but they're like Christmas cracker jokes that he completely kills. He completely sort of messes them up, and it's really annoying. And then he does this weird laugh. It's just, it gives me a headache after a while. And I thought, well, I don't want my trip to Western Supermare to be ruined because I had to spend an hour in a minibus with this guy. So I bought a pair of headphones. I found them for 15 quid, a pair of Philips headphones in the end. They were initially, according to the catalogue, reduced from 50 quid to 25 quid. When they brought out a new catalogue, they were reduced to half price. Allegedly. And then when I did a price check, they were only 15, so I thought, yeah, you'll do. And they are awesome headphones, to be fair. And that's what I took with me. And they're kind of a sensible size. They're over the ear. I don't like the in-ear headphones, but they're a sensible size to carry around. And they fold up a bit as well. These ones are fucking huge. They're clearly designed either for the studio or for home. They're massive, and they've got a really, really long wire as well, by the looks of things. So it's clearly either designed, to have at home so you can listen to your TV at night or whatever, or they're designed, always just have it on quietly, or it's designed to. They almost look like fucking studio headphones. Massive things, massive Sony things. Haven't tried them out yet. I dare say they sound awesome. I can't say that for certain because I haven't tried them out yet. But yeah, the films kind of have a description. I guess that's what they specialise in. The films, and I guess the software sometimes actually does have a synopsis of the films, but any kind of electronic item, they have no description whatsoever outside of the bleeding description. And when I was looking for a camcorder, I thought maybe I could get a decent Canon from there with the money I gave back for the stupid, because they were about the same price. I remember in Argos, I think the Canon was slightly more expensive. The Panasonic one was slightly cheaper. They were all about the £300 mark when they were new, so I thought maybe they have the Canon one, which I'd be happy with. But they didn't. And yeah, I kept having to, open another thing and doing a Yahoo link search for the model numbers, just so I could try to get the specs, try and get what it fucking was, because sometimes you got a photo, sometimes you didn't, and you just got the Sony model number and over-ear headphones or something, like that, and you got no description whatsoever. Consequently, I've got this massive pair of headphones. Somewhere in there, I've got this camcorder, which I wish they gave me a proper camcorder shaped one, but I suppose at least I've got one of these. I haven't got. This is my only camcorder that is designed like this. It's not actually too bad. I think because of the size, the Canon one, it does have grips. I don't know if you can see them in the box, but about there, they do actually have grips on the front, and it is quite small. So it is kind of comfortable in the hand, this one. It's just not as good as a fucking, you know, I made my batty jump, as a friggin', you know, camcorder I blinking ordered. So, balls to you, CEX.